has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. When this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. The earth shall soon dissolve like snow. The sun forbear to shine, but God who called me here below will be forever mine. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Than when we first begun.
My name is Judith Cater and I am the President of Unions New South Wales. In welcoming you all to this International Day of Mourning service, I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. This land was never ceded, always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I wish to welcome all of the families who have joined us today for this special online service. Can I also welcome today's speakers, Minister Kevin Anderson, Minister for Better Regulation and Innovation, Ms Jodie McKay, Leader of the New South Wales Opposition, and Mark Mori, Secretary, Unions New South Wales, Rita Malia, President of CFMEU. Importantly, we'll be hearing from many family members today, and I wish to especially thank them as I understand how difficult this could be for them. I'd also like to welcome those presiding over this service, Reverend Bill Cruz from the Exodus Foundation, Rabbi Dr. Benjamin Elton from the Great Synagogue, and Imam Farnham Khalil from the Hills District Muslim Society. Can I also welcome all our other guests, including politicians from the federal and New South Wales state parliaments, Deputy Mayor Linda Scott, union representatives, and all other guests. In commencing this service, I would now like to introduce Anne Weldon, who will deliver the Welcome to Country.
As a Wiradjuri Kuri Balang, it is with honour that I stand before you today on the land of the mighty Eora Nation and Gadigal people. I am a Wiradjuri Kuri Balang from Urambi Aboriginal Reserve here in New South Wales, and my bloodline certainly winds back through hundreds of generations. I'm a New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council Elder, a member of Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council, Public Service Association Aboriginal Liaison Officer, and I am their representative here today. I acknowledge all other Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal brothers and sisters that have joined us. And in keeping with my cultural protocol, I acknowledge all elders past and present for the many, many sacrifices that our elders have made to create a better future for all peoples in our countries. But undeniably, history has certainly dealt my people unjust treatment, and sadly we continue to witness these unfortunate injustices. But we are a living testament to a history of ongoing strong commitment, determination, hardship, pride of our culture, and the essence to go forward into the 21st century. And today, the International Day of Mourning is important to those who have lost loved ones to work-related incidences and illnesses. And each year, employers and workers take time to reflect how workplace incidences have affected those around them. And each year we remember and commemorate their lives and share their memories. And I would like you to remember to be proud and stand with us so that we can all go forward together. The Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council promotes a vision of working together as one community and to achieve as one community. And our philosophy prides itself on respect, patience and tolerance of all Australians. And the boundaries for the Eora Nation spans from the Hawkesbury River to the north, the Nepean to the west and the Georges River to the south. So as I stand before you, it is with respect and honour, and as a representative of Metropolitan Local Aboriginal Land Council, as a New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council Elder, and the Public Service Association Aboriginal Liaison Officer, express a sincere and heartfelt welcome to the land of the mighty Eora Nation and Gadigal people as we gather on their traditional land. And I take this opportunity to thank New South Wales Public Service Association and Unions New South Wales for their ongoing dedication, commitment and supporting workers and their families in their time of need. Once again, welcome to the land of the mighty Eora Nation and Gadigal people. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. When we gathered last year for our first online event, we could never have imagined that we would be doing it again this year. However, what we have witnessed globally has had a huge impact on the way we live. In Australia, we were prepared for the worst, but being an island nation certainly assisted in ensuring the worst examples of the pandemic did not reach our shores. That being said, there were significant Australian casualties of the pandemic, and we must never forget them, and we must insist that any learnings must be implemented going forward. I want to acknowledge the work of Unions New South Wales, Campaign Edge, and the New South Wales Government and Safe Work New South Wales in bringing this service to you. We know how important this day is to you and your families, and we continue to think of you at this very sad time. We know the tragic and unexpected loss of your loved one has left you, your family and friends, with the enormous pain that never leaves. As the Assistant General Secretary of the Nurses and Midwives Association, I cannot tell you how proud I am of our members out there on the front line, facing the invisible enemy on a daily basis and doing everything they can, often with limited resources, to ensure all of us are cared for adequately in this pandemic that still has no end date. The safety of every worker is paramount, and my union is working daily to make sure the resources, both human and material, are in place to protect them from the ravages of this virus. Not so easy though, as there were shortages before the pandemic hit. We've seen frontline nurses and doctors across the world succumb to this virus, and the least we can do for those people is to lobby, protest, do anything we have to do to ensure their safety as they ensure our care. Please keep them in your thoughts in these dire, unprecedented circumstances. I'd like to now introduce Mark Mori, Secretary of Unions New South Wales.
I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this year's International Day of Mourning service. I'd particularly like to take the time to welcome the families who have been with us since the start, the inception of our International Day of Mourning service, and particularly like to welcome any families who are joining us for the first time. Again, as we come out of COVID, we're unfortunately unable to have the service in person, though we're hoping to make sure that we have it in person next year, because I know how much it means to everyone who comes and joins our service. I'd particularly like to think about those workers who've worked through COVID, the unsung heroes, and the way in which who we thought were frontline service workers has actually changed. Those who drove trains or buses, those who are in the shops serving customers, those obviously in the front line of the health services, but even those who were tracking the viruses to make sure that we were safe. These are all occupations that are very important, and it says to me, no matter where you are, no matter what worker you are important, and you should go to work safely and you should come home safely. It is a day when we think about those who we've lost and the hole that has been left in our lives that will never be filled again. But it's also a day to reflect on improving safety in workplaces to ensure workers go to work and come home safely. Only in the last 6 months, 4 drivers have been killed who are delivery riders for food companies. Even though it's a new industry, it's a high-tech industry, it is a deadly industry. Many of those workers were killed on the roads and were only seen as accidents and statistics as a result of a road death, when in fact it was a death at a workplace. We must have the highest standards in New South Wales. We must have the highest safety standards in Australia to ensure all workers are kept safe, no matter where they work, no matter when they work, to make sure that they come home to their families and loved ones, and to make sure that Australia, as a first world country, is leading in safety and the protection of workers at work. There are many speakers today, and I thank them all for their attendance. But it is a day for the families and the friends who have lost someone. It is a day for us all to reflect on those who have passed, but to make sure we, as a union movement and as family and friends, do a much better job to ensure we have safe workplaces across our country, and that we ensure every worker who goes to work comes home safe. I'd like to thank everyone also who's speaking today. It shows how important this day is that we have such a breadth of speakers, particularly across the political spectrum and also from various religious groups. Safety is an issue for everybody, and I really appreciate them all being part of this service today. Thank you.
People around the world today, far too many people, are pausing to remember their loved ones taken from them in a fatal workplace incident or have succumbed to a workplace-related disease such as mesothelioma or silicosis. Each loss is deep, heartfelt and particularly personal, changing the lives of those who remain forever. Of life's challenges, undoubtedly the toughest is the sudden, unexpected and often preventable loss of someone we love. Commemoration events such as today's can play a small part in helping families in their grief and help drive home the message to businesses, employers and workers about just how important workplace health and safety is. Today's mourning and reflection once again reinforces the message that health and safety in the workplace must be the #1 priority in any business. No one should lose their life as a result of a workplace incident or workplace-related disease. Each year, far too many people die from preventable accidents, injuries and diseases in their place of work, devastating families, friends and workmates. Businesses in New South Wales have taken significant steps to change the workplace health and safety culture to replace the she'll be right attitude. When someone loses their life, it will never be all right. We work in an overwhelmingly safe workplace environment, thanks to the hard work of industry, stakeholders, Safe Work and the New South Wales Government. But we all need to keep working together to promote safety in other workplaces and ours. A simple death can forever change the lives of so many people, family, friends, colleagues, and the effects of a workplace fatality cannot be understated. A life lost, a promise unfulfilled, other lives changed forever. This is the toll we all pay for a work-related death. On this International Day of Mourning, I ask everyone to take a moment to remember those who we have lost, reflect on the grief of those left behind, and rededicate ourselves to once more helping stamp out workplace-related deaths. Your family, your friends, and your workmates will be glad you did.
I begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of this land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. Today, on April 28th, the International Day of Mourning, we pause to remember working people from Australia and from around the world who've been killed or injured at work. Today, we also affirm that one death at work is one death too many, and that our labour movement's long struggle for safer workplaces continues. A death or injury at work should be a shocking and rare event. It's not something that should be considered normal or inevitable. I'd like to pay my respects to the family members, colleagues and friends who've lost loved ones at work and who are spending today thinking of those who never returned home. I'd also like to acknowledge the great trade union movement and its officials, delegates and rank and file members who are always there to support families and colleagues when one of these devastating incidents occurs. Many of us have spoken to families who tell of us of the last kiss goodbye at the front door, of the shout in the hallway, and then of the aching grief when they recall those moments as the last time they saw the person they loved. What was meant to be an ordinary working day for their family turned into a day of terrible tragedy and loss. Every single worker in Australia should go to work each morning knowing that they will return home safely. The rights that have been gained have been hard fought and won by the labour movement. The reason we have laws that protect safety in the workplace and hold employers to account is because of the labour movement. The reason we have workers' compensation is because working people believe that those injured at work and the families of those killed or injured at work should not be left in poverty. It is because of the labour movement. The reason toxic materials like asbestos are now banned is because of the labour movement. But there's still so much more to do. The struggle for safer workplaces must go on because working people are still being killed and injured at work. Families are still losing loved ones. People's lives are still being changed forever. Today, I particularly acknowledge the Casanidi family who fought so hard to see justice done for their son, Christopher. I recognise them and I thank them for their campaign for Christopher's Law to ensure special protections for apprentices and young people entering the construction industry. We will fight for tougher industrial manslaughter laws, including the creation of a new industrial manslaughter offence with higher penalties, including jail time. And Labor will keep on fighting to end the safety crisis in the gig economy that has seen 5 workers killed in the past year alone. We will fight to modernise workplace health and safety laws and the workers' compensation system so gig economy workers and their families have the protections they deserve. Every day of inaction puts more lives at risk. To everyone today who has lost a loved one, a friend or a colleague, we offer our heartfelt condolences and we recommit as a party and as a labour movement to continue our fight for safer workplaces.
It comes as such a shock, doesn't it? Your loved one goes to work and then doesn't come home. And you think, I haven't had a chance to tell him or her how much I love them. That is just, how can I cope? I don't know if they know I love them or not. And what about the children? And they haven't had a chance to tell their father or their mother or their relative how much they love them. This lack of being able to say, I or we love you. Can I just say, they know. Your loved one knows. Your loved one is like the sun coming from this beautiful, beautiful light today, from this beautiful sky. Love is like that. Maybe you haven't said all you wanted to say, but you've said it in your heart. You've said it. And in all the holy books, it talks about love. And it says how love always rejoices in the right. You know, it has no gender, it just is. It rejoices in what is. And they know, your loved one knows. And you will find, you will be walking one day in the sunlight like this, and you will feel that love returned. It's there, it's alive, and it's forever. And it's part of life. And what I'm saying today is that say it in your heart, and your loved one knows, and in time you will know you've been heard. Amen.
Hi, my name is Sheikh Farhan Khalil. On this important day, we remember individuals who should have gone home, but unfortunately they didn't. We're reminded of families who remember their loved ones every day of the year and every year of their lives. It's unacceptable, shameful, and disgraceful that such events happen in the 21st century. These events are not compromisable events for any community. Today we come together to reflect on all lives that were lost. We pause to think about the fathers, the mothers, the husbands, the wives, the brothers, the daughters, and the sons who went to work, but they never came back home. One loss of life is too many. All workplace lives are preventable. We need to change ourselves and our lives at work and the way we do work. A story comes to mind. A man actually wanted to change the whole entire world, but he wasn't able to do that. So he decided to change his own town, but he wasn't able to do that as well. And he decided to change his family, but he wasn't able to do that as well. And when he got really old, he only reflected and realized if only he had changed himself, that would have impacted his family, and that would have impacted the entire town, and that would have impacted the world somehow. And really want to leave you with this story to reflect upon, that we need to start changing ourselves, and we need to start changing our workplaces and making it safe for each and other. And I want to leave you with a final quote. Hope is not the conviction that will turn out well, but the certainty that something makes sense regardless of how it turns. And finally, I really want to thank and I really want to pay my tribute to all the families who are here and have lost their loved ones. And may God be with you all. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, and it's my honour to take part in this service for those who have lost their lives at their place of work. When we go to work each day, or we wave goodbye to those from our family or our friends who are going to work, we hope and we expect we will see them again in good health. And yet that is not always the case. And we think with great sorrow and sadness of those who didn't come back, who did not find the safety at the work they were hoping for, as they sought to support themselves and their families. I'm now going to recite the Jewish memorial prayer for those who have died at their place of work. Hail Molei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamasei Menucha Nechona, Al Kanfei Hashchina, B'malos Kedoshim Utahorim, Kazoha Horakia, Masirim, Es Nishmos Kol Shehumsu, B'mamakomos Avodosom, B'gan Eden Tehei Menuchasom, Lachein Bal Harachamim, Yasti Rein B'Seiser Knafov Leolamim, V'yitzror B'tzor HaChayim Es Nishmoseihem, Adonai Hu Nachalasom, V'yanuchu B'Shalom HaMishkavoseihem, V'nomar Amen. May they rest in peace under the shelter of God's divine presence. Amen.
We're here today on the 28th of April for the International Day of Mourning to commemorate those lost in a workplace incident. It truly hurts my heart to see more families each year who have lost a loved one not returning home from work and knowing what it is that you had to endure. My name is Rachel Tanner and I've been asked to share my story, and with this I hope it promotes change and improvement of safe work practices and prevent future deaths of all Australian workers. I am also part of the Safe Work Family and Injured Worker Support Group. This is an advisory group made up of family members who have lost loved ones in a workplace incident and injured workers themselves. This group assists in helping inform safe work, improve processes and responses following a workplace incident fatality. We advocate for work health and safety in the community and network with families and injured workers. Today I personally reflect on the loss of my husband and father to our 3 sons, Craig Tanner. On the 7th of December 2017, he went to work never to return home to our family, our lives never to be the same again. At 11:03 that day, he was killed in a workplace incident. He suffered fatal injuries while trapped in an ink tank for over 2 hours. Never in a million years did I think that day my life and the lives of my children would be permanently changed forever. That this was something that could ever happen to us. My husband Craig was an amazing man, husband and father. He was my best friend, soulmate, and what I thought was my forever. Craig was a very hands-on father to our 3 beautiful sons. His death has denied them of so much and will ultimately change their life paths for the rest of their lives. There has been so many milestones in that Craig has not been present for, not to mention all the significant events yet to come. As a family, we are reminded daily of the consequences of Craig's death, and we miss him more than you can imagine. My husband is never coming home, and that's my reality. My husband will never have the chance to see his sons grow up and become men. His accident was entirely preventable. All workplace deaths are preventable and unacceptable. Every worker deserves the right to come home to their family, and it's truly my biggest hope that no family has to go through the nightmare and heartache we have experienced. On behalf of myself and my family, we wish all the families today mourning the loss of their loved ones love and strength.
Today, on this International Day of Mourning, I am here to share the story of my brother, Rhys Markello, who tragically lost his life in a preventable workplace incident on the 23rd of October 2017. Rhys was only 27 years old when he went to work one Monday morning and never made it home again. He'd only been at his new job for 3 weeks. Rhys was a loving son, brother, uncle, partner, and a mate to so many. Family was everything to Rhys. He was so selfless in everything he did, was always there to help, and always put others above himself. He had an infectious laugh and a wicked sense of humour. He was always the first to greet you with a handshake and a smile that lit up his whole face. Rhys had such a zest for life and excelled at everything he put his mind to, from various sports to his greatest passion of all, racing his V8 Commodore with his father and his brother. He completed 3 trades to achieve his goals and was such a perfectionist with an eye for detail like no other. He lived his short life to the fullest, always striving for success. But even with everything he did achieve, he still had so much more life to live. He'd just moved back home, ready to start the next stage of his life, building his dream home with his brother and settling down with his beautiful partner. Rhys never got to achieve these dreams, never got to get married, never got to have children of his own. Rhys did touch so many people's lives, and to try and put what that means and who he was as a person into words is impossible. Our lives will never be the same again. The pure grief and heartbreak that a parent feels having to bury their child, the emptiness of losing a sibling, children growing up with only memories of their fun and loving uncle. Our tragic loss of Rhys has inspired me to fight for workplace health and safety, and in 2020 I became a member of Safe Work New South Wales Family and Injured Workers Support Group. I've met an amazing group of people who advocate for change within the workplace so that others will not have to suffer the indescribable pain of sustaining a workplace injury or losing a loved one. We're also a support network for families and loved ones who may unfortunately suffer the same loss and pain that we have endured. We are fighting for everyone's basic right to go to work and make it home safely at the end of the day. My thoughts are with everyone who has lost a loved one, and today we commemorate them.
Memory lines. Today, people around the world mourn the loss of life, of workers killed, a father, a son, a daughter, or a wife. The pain still hurts, for in our heart exists an empty hole, a needless tragic death that's pierced our inner soul. For the death of workers, there is no excuse. We must organise the throng and defend the rights of working people to fight this wretched wrong. And as we reflect on the lives of those we love, we miss, we pine, let us leave messages, thoughts and gifts here at Memory Lines, a poem by Chris Christodoulou.
David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, major lift, the rival kingdom pause, and hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Well, maybe there's God above, but I learned from loving was how to shoot somebody who outdrew you. But it's not a cry you hear at night. It's not somebody that's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I've been here before, and I've seen this room, and I've walked this floor, and I used to live alone before I knew you. Well, I've seen you fly on a marble arch. How love is not some victory march, it's a code and it's a broken heart. shall breathe of balmy flowers smile. O maiden, hear, O maiden, pleading. O mother, hear a suppliant's child. Ave
In closing this service, can I please thank all our speakers, those presiding over this service, all our special guests, and especially all the families participating today who have tragically lost loved ones. It has been an honour to be part of this service, and can I thank again all those who made it possible.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock ticks and I think of you, turning in circles. Confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories. Time after sometime you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead, and you're calling out to me, and I can't hear what you said. You say go slow, and I'll fall behind. The second it unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you're full, I will catch you, will be waiting. Time after time. If you're full, I will catch you, and I will be waiting. Time after time. Time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to grey, watching through windows, wondering if you're okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost and you look, and you will find me. Time after time. If you're full, I will catch you, will be waiting. Time after time. If you're full, I will catch you, and I will be waiting. Time after time. Time after some time.